Thank you.
Thank you.
You are very brave. How do you stay so strong?
We are team. We help each other, and our coach help us.
Coach.
ผมต้องขอโทษด้วยนะครับที่พาเด็กมาเสี่ยงอันตราย
ไม่จริงครับ
หัวใจครับมาช่วยหมูครับหัวใจครับโค้ชเก่งที่สุดครับ
Is because of our coach, we are stay strong. He teach us to meditate,
โคตรบอกให้เขาสวดมนต์ครับ
and we pray.
You pray?
Yes,
I bet you do. All right.
How did you find?
วินนี่วินนี่
This is to get out. Good work.
13 Lives.
So this is in cinemas now and then on Prime Video from August the 5th. It follows in the footsteps of the documentary by the people who made Free Solo, The Rescue, which told this story before. You mentioned that there is that strange coincidence of Apollo 13 and 13 lives, you know, that number chiming, and once again a story of people in dramatic circumstances, in dire straits. The screenplay for this is by William Nicholson, who Ron Howard mentioned in that interview, you know, Shadowlands, Gladiator, Les Mis, as I think.
Yeah, as I mentioned, yeah.
Yeah. There was two phrases that Ron Howard used. He said to celebrate viable, plausible optimism, which I think is a great phrase, and also celebrate the spirit of volunteerism. Certainly the scenes in which we see, you know, the farmers who agree to have their lands flooded. They say, this will save the boys. Agreed, for the boys. The governor whose own reputation is on the line and is told you will stay until this is done, and who recognises that if it all goes wrong, it's his fault. It is an extraordinary story, and I confess that even now when I think about it, because I'm really claustrophobic, the idea of flooded caves just presses all of my buttons, so I find it really terrifying. The story about the SEALs first going, and then the British amateur cavers, played by Colin Farrell and Viggo Mortensen, unrecognisable
completely.
The phrase you used was, I think, Colin Farrell's most underplayed performance.
He disappears completely into that character. I thought it was really, really impressive, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I watched him for a couple of minutes before realising that it was Colin. Correct. Same with Viggo Mortensen. I mean, the only reservation I'd have there's slightly Spinal Tappy accents. There is a little bit of Nigel Tufnell in the accents every now and then, particularly because the dialogue is so absolutely ordinary blokey that I think occasionally the accents, but it's, I'm bickering about custard creams. There's a lot of custard cream talk.
But that was quite revealing as to the kind of guys that they are.
No, exactly. And that's a very, very minor complaint. The dialogue, the script is full of really sort of poignant moments of dialogue. There's the moment when they found the boys and said, well, what am I supposed to tell them? We found the boys, now watch them die. They're not coming out, never, because okay, we found them. How are we going to get them out? And then with Joel Edgerton's Harry, the anaesthetist, who is effectively called upon to turn the boys into packages. They actually say at one point, they are packages. We are the delivery boys. That's what we're doing. And that's the kind of key to how this operation works. And even thinking about that now gives me the creeps. And I think that when you consider that, as you've said, we all know the outcome. Actually, one of the reasons that we're able to, I think, enjoy 13 Lives is possibly because we do know that those 13, I mean, actually, the operation was not without loss of life, as we learn, but that we do know that the 12 boys and their coach did make it out. And yet still, I'm sitting there watching on the edge of my seat thinking the idea that this is how you're going to do it, that you are effectively going to, use this. And when it's first suggested, I think he says, it's insane, it's unethical, it's illegal, and you're going to kill them. To which the answer is, they are going to die anyway. There is also a really poignant moment when, after one of the operations has worked, the character says, if if we brought one boy out alive, we'd be heroes yesterday. Now that we've brought one out alive, if we fail with a single one, and then he lets you sort of finish the sentence. So I thought this was really grippingly done, considering that there has been a very, very good documentary already, considering the fact that we do all know how the story worked out. I still felt that we learned stuff. I mean, certainly that spirit of volunteerism. I love viable optimism. I mean, Ron Howard is a good man at heart, and his films want to celebrate the best of people. And I think that idea of everyone doing whatever they can, I mean, that just brief scene of the farmers just agreeing to have their land flooded that you flagged up is very moving. A fantastic scene on the side of the mountains when they run out of pipes to drain the water, and somebody says, have you noticed all this bamboo? I mean, all that stuff I think works well, but it's the thing that it manages to do is to create a genuine sense of tension and, for me, claustrophobia and anxiety, and then relief as things start to go the right way. Because even though you know the story, I mean, even though you knew the story of Apollo 13, you still sit there thinking they're never going to get out of this.
It's an amazing film. As you said, cinematic release briefly, and then it turns up on Amazon Prime, was it? Is that
yeah,
where
Amazon Prime
that's
from
where
the
it's
5th.
Okay. When you've seen it, we'd love to know what you think. Correspondence at KermodeandMayo.com.